All right. Got a trade recap. It's a pretty sad trade recap, but it is what it is. I think it was a pretty good trade. I think I probably could have avoided it. I think there, maybe I could have been more patient, essentially. But anyway, so coming into the day, right? I saw we had these highs here. I didn't really care about that. We came up, we swept these highs, okay? Look, I know these are kind of internal highs, right? I talked about this. The reason I like this, if you go to the 4 hour and you draw your equilibrium, so this hourly high was aligned perfectly with the external equilibrium. So I was pretty confident that price would maybe, move lower from here. ES, right, respected it a little bit better. You can see we're not pushing above it, obviously, but so yeah, that's what I saw. And then obviously, bro, this is literally the perfect PO3 right here. If you go here, you see we have accumulation, clear as day manipulation, bro. This manipulation is perfect. And then I was expecting to see some distribution. We never actually got that, okay? So right after we have the PO3, the hourly sweep, and the external equilibrium being filled, I'm like, okay, I'm on the 5 minute. I want to see some displacement. What happens? We displace down. We inverse this 5 minute, creating another maybe a BPR. So yeah, I'm like, okay, and now I need to see the 5 minute rebalance itself. Okay, so let's see what ES is doing. Pretty similar stuff. Okay, so I need to see it rebalance itself. We get the rebalance, and then I scale onto the 1 minute. Right, I see that I need to see some more selling pressure kind of come into the market. What I see on ES is like, okay, we're breaking structure right here. We had this little imbalance right here that we filled, and then we displaced out of immediately. I didn't take this trade, but I'm just drawing this out, okay? So this would have been the best, I guess, trade today to take. The reason I didn't enter into this trade is because, for one, I need to see a lot more selling pressure, just not just like this. This to me is not enough selling pressure, right? Because look at this, right? We got that up, down, whatever you want to call this, bro, chop work, I guess. But it's just there's no clear direction in where price wants to go. I wanted to see like a break of structure underneath these lows. That would indicate to me that price wants to move lower. So I think NQ actually ended up doing that better. Like yeah, NQ gave a more clear break of structure. So I was like, okay, now I'm gonna look for a retrace into an imbalance, which we got right here. Okay, and then I saw we filled it. I wanted to see a big displacement out of it, which we got that on the second candle. I wanted to see a close beneath the liquidity sweep, which is what we got. Put stops above this candle like I always do, and then take profit was just right down here. Okay, so look, obviously this trade didn't play out too well for me. Okay, a couple things that I learned. Well, the first thing, bro, when I was trying to enter this trade, I accidentally entered in on normal NQ for 2 contracts. I realized that I went over immediately, and I closed it. I ended up making 200 or 150 bucks. I'm not counting that as my money. That's not my money. But so yeah, I made whatever 200 bucks, and then I re-entered back on MNQ, micro MQ, which is what I always trade, and then was risking like whatever 350. That's what I usually trade, and so yeah, we were chopping. Right around 11 a.m. I think I closed. I had 2 contracts. I closed one of them just to mitigate risk because it's already 11 a.m. and I usually hop up the chart, so I just wanted to take some risk off the table. It was getting choppy. Didn't want to stay in that trade too long. And we also had this 5 minute imbalance that was being respected. So we ended up breaking through it, obviously, but it was being respected at first. So that was just another confluence for me. So yeah, I ended up losing $80. So it's like pretty much a break-even trade. Really nothing. But, part of that reason is because, I'm counting this as a loss. Obviously, it's a loss. The trade didn't play out, which is a loss. So the money, it's not about the money. It's more about how the trade actually played out, and it did not play in my favor. The reason is because there was such a more significant draw on liquidity than just this low resistance high, right? I think, I kind of expected this to happen. I expected this 4 hour high to get taken, which we actually did. We just took it. And so, yeah, I mean, just better to learn. I got something to learn. It's just like, when price is sweeping out liquidity, but there's a more significant draw on liquidity, like this is an external high, okay? External 4 hour high. This is a very internal 1 hour high that has a lot less power than this high. And you can see like price ended up sweeping it, and then taking out some low resistance, and then going back to the real, because that's how it moves. It moves from internal to external, external to internal, right? Because we have the 1 hour high, we swept it, and then since the real draw on liquidity is the 4 hour high, we want it to come down, take out this internal low, to then push back to the upside. So that's the whole recap. I mean, yeah, definitely, something to learn. I don't think it was a necessarily really bad trade, because if you look at it like this, let me show you. PO3 is a very strong confluence, okay? And this was like the perfect PO3, right? We have just absolute chop accumulation, and then we get a clear manipulation. This is a very clear manipulation, as you can see, to the upside. We displace down, get a retrace, displace even more down, get an entry here, and I was expecting us to drop. That's just what I was expecting to happen based off of how I trade, which didn't happen. It's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't really lose much, so it's not a big deal. I did lose the trade, but I did pretty much follow my rules. So I'm glad I was able to learn something. Very little thing, but yeah, overall, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was, going to play out because I followed my rules, but it didn't play out. I just wanted to come to the external draw liquidity. So yeah, I got school on Monday. It's going to be difficult to trade, obviously, which is going to suck. It's going to suck, but what can you do? So I guess, I wanted to see this 5-minute candle close beneath this low, creating a 5-minute market structure shift. But my rules, I only need a 1 minute. I don't need a 5-minute market structure shift. We got the 1 minute market structure shift, so I didn't need a 5-minute. But yeah, this looked pretty bearish to me, based on the I trade. But I should have just known that price wanted to come up to the external highs, which is just what price usually wants to go for. It has more significance to price action. So, hey, what can you do? I think there might be a good setup now, which I'm not going to take because it's already past the time that I don't trade this. But yeah, we have an S&T now. Whatever. If you go to the 5-minute, I wonder if we're even getting that 5-minute structure. So, all right, this is technically still the PO3. I'm just not going to dig anything. It's just too late for me. Way too late. I used to take PM session trades. Now I don't as much. But it is what it is. It wasn't necessarily a really bad trade. I could have avoided it. I don't think I forced it. I think I kind of let it come to me. I was just waiting for everything I needed to see, and I took it. So that's the whole recap. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.